So, hi, welcome back to Out of the Pow TV. Here, we save you time by finding the best streaming shows and movies so you don't have to. In this video, I'm going to go over like 10 movies from my favorite genre, which is science fiction. Now, I'm not going to waste time going over the obvious movies, like Star Trek or even Terminator or Resident Evil or even Underworld, because if you're fans of them, you know about them already, so you don't need me to tell you about them. These are movies that you may have missed. So let's get started with some that you may not be aware of. First on the list is Spectral from 2016. Begins with a civil unrest in a European country called Moldova. I'm pretty sure that's made up. U.S. forces are engaged in these insurgents. However, there's this new threat which has been hit by both sides of the conflict. This sci-fi thriller story centers on a special ops team that is dispatched to fight what turns out to be some kind of supernatural beings. This new threat resides in a kind of an alternative spectrum that makes them invisible to the naked eye and instant death to anybody who confronts them. So local believes that these spirits are somehow others, they're spiritual in nature, but others there is call it superior technology that the government has. But you soon discover that it's from outwardly force, and they grow and wreak havoc on this war-torn city. The story centers on an engineer that teams up with an elite special ops unit to stop them. So when I came across this movie, I was pleasantly surprised because I really didn't have much going into it as far as expectations. But as I continued to watch it, I got drawn in. It was exciting, it was good. The story made sense, in that sci-fi realm. And I truly enjoyed it. So I would say it's definitely worth your shot. All right, let's go on to the next one. The next film is Extinction from 2018. So a father has a recurring dream of losing his family in this invasion. It starts taking over his life, and everyone thinks he's pretty much going crazy. They just don't believe him. However, his nightmare turns into reality when this invasion starts actually happening to their planet, and there's all this destruction. Now he's fighting for the lives of his family and himself, and he comes to realize this strength within himself. Extinction stars Michael Pena. So, good film. Check that out on Netflix. Next we have Elizabeth Harvest. It's also from 2018. Okay, in this film, nothing is as it seems in this brain-bending plunge into our darkest desires. Elizabeth, played by Abby Lee, is a beautiful young newlywed who arrives at this huge estate of her brilliant scientist husband, Henry. I can't pronounce this guy's name. Now in a modernistic luxury with an obedient and slightly unsettling house staff, she has seemingly everything she could want, except there's this one mystery that kind of tantalizes her, and that's what's behind the locked door of her husband's laboratory. It's kind of like a forbidden fruit, if you will. So, who can resist? When Elizabeth does dare to find out what's in the lab, everything she thought she knew about her husband and even about herself will change. So that's Elizabeth Harvest casts a spell on a creeping gothic menace as it unravels a disturbing tale of identity, obsession, and twisted love. All right, next we have from 2016 the sci-fi thriller Midnight Special, where a father, played by Michael Shannon, goes on the run to protect his young son and possibly find out about his special powers that his son has. What starts as a kind of a race from these religious extremists and local law enforcement quickly escalates into a nationwide manhunt involving the highest levels of the federal government. Ultimately, they risk everything to protect the son and help fulfill a destiny that could change the world forever. It also stars Joel Edgerton, Kirsten Dunst, Adam Driver, and Sam Shepard. And that's Midnight Special. Now, I love finding foreign films that normally I would never come across, like when I recommended last week The Yin Master in my last video. So number 5 on this list also includes one, and it's called Space Sweepers. It's set in the year 2092. This new Korean film follows a small group of shipmates chasing after space debris, which they use to make money, and their faraway dreams. Money is their only goal. Saving Earth, as it turns out, was never the plan. So when they unearth secrets, after having stumbled across this humanoid robot named Dorothy, it's this girl, they get involved in this risky business deal with larger implications that they could never have imagined. So it's a fun movie, it's heartwarming, and I would say definitely check out. Don't let the foreign language part of it throw you off. It's worth watching. Now the next one on the list brings us back to Earth, and in fact very close to where I live, actually, and where I've actually lived previously. The movie production really does a good job with the layout of West LA and Santa Monica. So, and a bit of a guilty pleasure for me is 2011's Battle of Los Angeles. Now, there have always been documented cases of UFO sightings around the world, but what were once just sightings becomes a terrifying reality when Earth is actually attacked and invaded by aliens. Los Angeles becomes a main battlefront for mankind in this film. And it's up to Marine Sergeant Staff Sergeant, played by Aaron Eckhart, a personal favorite, and his new platoon to draw a line in the sand as the enemy take on an enemy as they take on an enemy like they've never encountered before. It also stars Michelle Rodriguez, playing her usual great badass, Bridget Monahan, Aaron Eckhart, as I said before, and again, Michael Pena. The Battle of Los Angeles is a guilty pleasure. It's an action film plus sci-fi elements. And it takes place right here close to me in Santa Monica, West LA. So it has all these things, Aaron Eckhart, Michelle Rodriguez, all these people. It's a good, fun story, action-packed, as I said, and I would say go watch it. Now this next one is interesting in that it also has something similar to a previous one I just recommended, and it's a bit like Spectral in that it features invisible beings. So this one goes back to 2011. It's called The Darkest Hour. It did it first, I guess, in a way. It's short. It's a story of 5 young people who find themselves stranded in Moscow. The movie starts with 2 American software designers traveling to Moscow, basically trying to sell their app. They're software investors. However, their Swedish partner, Skylar, pulls a fast one on them and they get screwed out of the deal. They go to a nightclub to kind of draw their sorrows and woes, and they meet a couple of girls, an American and an Australian, and even Skylar shows up at this club. But at this point, the movie seems like a typical kind of young adult movie about meeting girls and getting revenge on the guy who is a jerk and screwed you over. However, out of the blue, they are surprised by these strange lights in the sky, which they mistake for a natural phenomenon. But that all changes real quickly when people are suddenly starting to be killed by these lights and things are being destroyed around them. So quickly they learn the lights are aliens invading Earth and using their unique powers to annihilate mankind. The survivors hide and seek refuge wherever they can, and they start to band together and slowly learn how to fight back. And get this, it stars Emil Hirsch, who's the kid in the movie The Girl Next Door. So check that out. Really good movie, scientifically makes sense. Invisible aliens who we learn how to overcome. So, good movie. The next film is Anon. It takes place in the future where technology has rendered privacy obsolete because everyone has a video recorder built right into their eye. I mean, it's right in there and it records everything automatically as people go about their lives. So everyone's lives are transparent, traceable, and recorded by the authorities, and crime basically ceases to exist because everything's recorded. No one's get caught until someone finds a way around it. And a detective played by Clive Owen investigates a serial assassin who has found a way to delete themselves from all these visual records. I mean, it's unreal. It's like nobody was there. In trying to solve this series of murders, Clive Owen stumbles on a young woman, played by Amanda Seyfried, known only as the Girl. She has no identity, no history, and is invisible to the cops. So is she the killer or something else? And so as Clive Owen goes deeper into this investigation, he realizes this may not be the end of crime, but the beginning. So that's Anon. Okay, so we're already up to number 9, and on this list it's I Am Mother from 2019, fairly recently. Now this sci-fi thriller is about a teenage girl, played by Clara Rugard, who is first of a new generation of humans to be raised by a mother, who's actually a robot, voiced by Rose Byrne. designed to repopulate the Earth after the extinction of humankind. But the pair's unique relationship is threatened when an injured stranger, played by Hilary Swank, arrives with news that calls into question everything that the girl has been told by this mother. Everything she knows about the outside world and how she grew up and what her future is comes into question with all this. So check that out. It's called I Am Mother. So oh boy, we're almost on the last one. It's number 10. Well, we are on the last one. And this is my final recommendation. The movie is called Oxygen. The main character, Liz, played by Melanie Laurent, is like she's the only person in the movie pretty much. She wakes up not knowing who she is or where she is. She finds herself inside this small little coffin-like capsule. And we slowly start learning what is going on. You know, more importantly, that her little capsule is running out of oxygen and we don't even know who she is. And so she's running out of time. And in order to survive, she needs to find out who she is, what she's doing there, and how to save herself. So it comes down to no escape, no memory, and 90 minutes to live. And that is Oxygen. All right, that's it for this week on Autopilot TV. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment, and please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week.